Okay. So today I'll continue with that. So we'll take one more example here. The force being applied and the force has got a change in the shape of the spring due to the force. The force is due to the. So here let me take an example to know the bond type and Bohr character with the help of electronegativity values. So I'll take first example of sodium fluoride, that is F, and Fe is going to be here. The Fe is going to be here highly electronegative. So I'll write this as highly electronegative. The electronegativity value of this is going to be 4. The fluorine value of fluorine is going to be 4. And sodium is not an electronegative element. Instead of that, is it going to be an electropositive element? This is going to be electropositive element. So I can easily say that the electronegativity of this is going to be very least. So that is around 0.8 it will be. So now if I check the electronegativity difference between these two, how much I am going to get?
3.2.
3.2. Okay. So 3.2, and what the condition we have? If the difference in electronegativity between two elements exceeds 1.7, right? Then what is the nature of the bond?
Ionic bond.
Yes. So this is going to be ionic bond, right? So if you observe the electronegativity difference greater than 1.7, or it exceeds 1.7, then the nature of that is going to be ionic. Is that clear? So what is the change happened in the level of diffusion compared to earlier now?
Sanna.
Okay. So let me take one more example. Let's take HCl. Okay. So you know about H, you know about Cl. So can you people tell me which is more electronegative among these two? I want you to know, see the difference in the level of Yes.
Chlorine.
Yes, chlorine, right? So chlorine is more electronegative, is going to be 3.0, and hydrogen is around 2.5. Okay, so this is the electronegativity value of hydrogen and chlorine. So can now you people tell me how much is the difference?
0.5.
0.5. Yeah, what is the nature of the bond? Yes, it is going to be less than 1.7. The electronegativity difference is going to be less than 1.7. Then it is going to be covalent. Yes, absolutely. Right. Okay. So then I'll take one more example. Then there is a same force, but if I change the position of, that means the shape, it is going to be in contact with the flow. If we take an example of, let's say, H2 and Cl2. Okay, H2 and Cl2. So here what I can tell? Electronegativity difference is going to be how much in these two cases?
1.
Can it be equal to 0? I mean, this is a separate molecule and this is a separate molecule. So H2 in the case, it has only 2 H hydrogen in this. So 2.5 and 2.5
1, sir.
equal to 0, right? Right or wrong? Is that clear or not? Here you can see that the electronegativity difference is less than 1.5 or it is equal to 0. So when it comes to equal to 0, what I have told?
Non-polar covalent bond.
Right? Okay. If difference is 0, right? Because of same atom. So same atom irandre enagutte namge electronegativity difference 0 agutte. But not equal to 0 ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು ಅದು?
Polar covalent bond.
Yes, right. The difference of electronegativity is less than 1.7 but still is not equal to 0 ಅಂದಾಗ polar covalent ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಇದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ? What kind of bond is going to be this one?
Non-polar covalent bond.
Non-polar covalent bond.
Absolutely. Then what I can call this type of covalent bond as? Can I call this as a polar?
Covalent bond.
So it can be called, right? Because it is less than 1.7, right? But it is not equal to 0, right? So I can simply call that as HCl as a polar covalent bond and H2 and Cl2 as a non-polar covalent bond. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I hope if people got cleared with these examples. There is no doubt. If you have any doubts, just we can discuss that one. Okay, fine. So and even in the case of HCl, if I want to elaborate that one, so let me show that once. Okay. So here in the case of HCl, if we have a bond like this, and we know the electronegativity of chlorine is more, right? So the electronegativity of chlorine is more. So chlorine, what does it do? And we know the definition of electronegativity is that it needs to pull the electrons towards itself, right? It is going to pull the share pair of electrons, or it's going to pull the bond pair of electrons. So this chlorine is going to pull the electron from the hydrogen. It will pull the electron from the hydrogen. When it pulls the electron from the hydrogen, hydrogen gives the electron. When hydrogen gives the electron, what charge is going to be on the hydrogen?
Plus.
Yes.
Positive charges.
Yes. So this gets partial positive charge that we indicate by delta plus. Okay, partial positive charge, it is indicated by delta plus. And here what charge it will be on the chlorine?
Negative charge.
Yes, absolutely. So that we write it as delta minus, delta plus and delta minus. So that delta plus and delta minus indicates partial positive and partial negative charge. Okay. So this kind of bond we call it as polar covalent bonds. Okay. So it means what? When I am saying polar covalent bond, okay, what it actually means? Polar covalent bond andre en artha? So it means what? These bonds, okay, these bonds appears to have partial ionic character. Very important. These polar covalent bonds as partial ionic character. What do you mean by that? What do you understand by this statement? Can anyone tell me? So we know what? We know that the covalent bond which has formed has no charge on it, right? Do we know that? Polar bond, ಈಗ ionic bond ಆದ್ರೆ ನೀವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? ಹೌದು, ionic bonds ಅಂದಾಗ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ions ಅಂತ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Absolutely right. But when it comes to covalent bond, there is no ionic character, there is no ions, right? Is it possible of ions there? They're not going to donate
the electron.
Yeah, please come again.
Hydrogen shares the both electron.
Yeah, absolutely. What happens in the case of HCl, I'm asking? Does they going to share or does they going to donate and accept?
Donate.
If in that case, if they are donating, then it should have been kept in the case of ionic bond only. It should not be an example for covalent bond, right?
Sharing.
But hydrogen and chlorine, they make up a bond by sharing the electron. Okay, the bond exists between hydrogen and chlorine is a covalent bond itself, but because of the electronegativity difference we observe here, this chlorine pulls the electrons out of hydrogen and there they exist a partial ionic character, which means you can see that HCl is having 50% of covalent bonding and 50% of ionic bonding. Are you getting what I'm saying? Is it possible for you to understand the things what I'm saying?
Yes, Anna.
Everyone, for everyone I'm asking, not for the single girl, not for the single person I'm asking here. I hope that everyone are able to understand. Okay. So we'll be studying more of that in the case of chemical bonding in the first year concept. There we'll be studying partial ionic character and how all the covalent bonds, whatever the covalent bond we exist in the nature, all those covalent bonds has a little amount of ionic character in them. They'll obviously will be having a little ionic character. There is no perfect covalent bond. So that we'll be discussing later classes. So there is about bond character and bond nature, bond nature and bond type and bond character. Okay. So hope you people are clear with the based on the electronegative difference, how we are going to predict the type of bonds. So based on that, how we will predict the type of bonds what we have. Okay, it's fine. So I was saying ionic bond, you can see here. So going to be for a bond formed between two atoms by transfer of one or more electrons between oppositely charged ions. Here the force of attraction in the case of ionic bond is going to be electrostatic force of attraction. So it is going to be electrostatic force of attraction. And in the case of covalent bond is given by G.N. Lewis. So he was the scientist who gave about covalent bond. G.N. Lewis. So whatever the dot structure we have studied in chemical bonding, so that dot structure is given by Lewis, G.N. Lewis. So he is who introduced the dot structure. G.N. Lewis. And In the case of covalent bond, the bond is going to be formed by sharing of a pair of electrons from its valence shell of two different atoms, or you can take it as the same atoms as well. Okay, so in which two or more non-metals atoms share electrons in the valence shell. So in the types of covalent bond, what we have studied already, non-polar covalent bonds, electrons are shared equally. So you can be defined in this manner. Electrons are shared equally. So non-polar covalent bonding in iodine molecule, you can see. Actually, non-polar covalent bonds are also homoatomic bond. Okay, homoatomic. Homoatomically, ನಮಗೆ non-polar covalent. Homoatomic in the sense, ಏನು homoatomic ಅಂದ್ರೆ what do you mean by homoatomic?
Which contains only one type of atom.
Yes, absolutely. Contains only one type of atom. So like hydrogen, H2, Cl2, F2, so all that. So all that going to be, you can in general call them as a non-polar covalent bond, because in all those cases we observe equal sharing of electrons. So there will be equal sharing of electrons. Okay, so you can observe that one here. In the case of iodine molecules, they have taken equal sharing of electrons between the two identical non-metals. How much they are going to share? They are going to share one electron each. So totally they'll share 2 electrons and they form a bond. Single bond, as I told, one single bond consists of 2 electrons there. Coming to polar covalent bond. So here, as I told, polar covalent bond, electrons are not shared equally, because one atom attracts the shared pair of electrons more than the other atom. So you can see the delta positive on the H and delta negative on the F. And you can see the arrow mark. It is pointing towards chlorine, right? It's pointing towards fluorine, which is more electronegative atom. Fluorine is more electronegative atom. So this arrow mark shows that the electrons are moving from hydrogen towards the fluorine. So it means that fluorine is pulling the electron from the hydrogen. So that is what happens here. That is what happening here. Okay. So such kind of bonds is said to be polar covalent bonds, where the electrons are not equally shared. So here the fluorine is pulling the electrons from the hydrogen. It's going to pull the electron. So it means this is going to have a more amount of electrons and this will have a less amount of electrons. So there is not an equal share. There is an unequal share. So such type of covalent bonds, what we call as a polar covalent bond. Okay, and you can also see the size variations here. The size of fluorine, since because of the gaining of electron, and size of hydrogen because of losing an electron, is going to be changed. Okay, so that can also be observed here. So this kind of diagram, what represent it is, we call it as a polarizability. So the tendency to distort the cation. So this is the cation. So to distort the shape of that, the shape na ನಾವು change ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ polarizability ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So that all will be studying later classes. Okay. So here you can see non-polar covalent bond. You can see the same size of the both A and B. Non-polar covalent bond, there is no size variations. There is a equal sharing. Okay. But in the case of polar covalent bond, as I told, which is more electronegative, that size will be larger. So you can observe that. And in the case of ionic, always remember anionic is bigger in size and cationic is smaller in size. So it is represented in that manner. So the size of anion is larger. And electronegativity as I discussed. So this is the classification of chemical bond based on the electronegativity difference. So as what I was told, the same thing is here. The polarity of bond depends on the difference between electronegative values of the atoms forming the bonds. Non-polar covalent, as we discussed, 0 to 0.3. Polar covalent 0.4 to 1.7, and ionic above 1.7, exceeding 1.7 are going to be ionic. Okay, so you can see the three different diagrams over there, A, B, and C. It is according to respectively A is non-polar, and B is polar, and C is ionic. It is respectively arranged that manner. So these are the electronegativity values of different elements. So hydrogen you can see is around 2.1, and carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. So fluorine is being highest electronegativity value. Fluorine has highest electronegativity value. So chlorine, fluorine, oxygen, and nitrogen you can see there. The chlorine, fluorine, and oxygen. You need to remember this, very important. Okay, so these are the most electronegative elements in the periodic table. In the whole periodic table, these four are going to be the most electronegative elements. So there are the many different ways of variations in the characteristics because of these electronegativity values of the elements, and we use that in the case of reactions. We observe a lot of differences from one atom to another atom, and the variations of characteristics, variations of reactions, all we observe. So in that case, this kind of all these four elements and their electronegative values are very important. So note this, need to remember. So here they are given some questions to practice. Use electronegativity values to classify the following bonds. So you can differentiate them using the electronegativity values to classify what kind of bonds they are. Okay. So you people try this now and try to classify them, and let's see the answers. Okay, so now check your answers whether what you have written is right or wrong, and in this if you have any doubts you can ask me.
Hydrogen 2.5.
Yes,
Hydrogen is 2.5, right? First one.
no, actually I took it on average, so 2.1 is fine, no problem. Even if you have a 2.5, then it is going to be 0, right? Yeah, no problem. The actual value I would not took actual value. Actual value is going to be 2.1. Okay, I hope everyone are clear with this. Okay. So we'll see what is covalent bonding. So in the case of covalent bonding, so nature favors chemical bonding because most atoms have lower potential energy when they are bonded to other atoms. So when they have lower potential energy, in the case they are going to be stable. Okay. So nature favors chemical bonding because most atoms have low potential energy when they are bonded to other atoms. When they bond, they become stable. Okay, so when they are going to bond, they will become stable. So that is what they are saying here. And the formation of covalent bond, how this covalent bond formation takes place. Each atom has a positive nucleus in the center and negative electron surrounding the nucleus in a spherical pattern. You all know that. The positively charged nuclei are attracted to the negatively charged electron. Okay, so positively charged nuclei. So nucleus is a positively charged, and it has an attraction between the positive charge and the negative charge electron. So there is going to be an attraction. So here hydrogen atom sufficiently far apart to have no interaction. So here the hydrogen atom here the hydrogen atom is placed in a far place. So that there is no attraction going to take place between them, and there is no interaction is going to take place between them. So we have kept these two apart. So as the atom approach each other, the charged particles interact here. Nucleus on one atom attracts electrons on the other atom. So here this is what is going to happen. So when they are going to brought them to closer, so at that case the nucleus of opposite atoms going to attract the electrons of opposite atom, and they are going to form a hydrogen molecule here. Okay, so formation of a covalent, as the atom approaches one another, the potential energy decreases. A bond forms when the potential energy is at minimum. This is very important, you need to remember. So you can see the graphical representation of that there. Okay, so these are the two bonds here which are bonded already. So they are bonded already. Okay, and so this is the potential energy point where the potential energy here at this case is 0. Okay, at this case is the potential energy 0. It means the minimum. Okay, when they are covalently bonded or when there is a bond, so they will have a minimum energy. And when the energy is increased slowly and the energy is increased at this particular point, you can see 43.6 kilojoules of energy. So the distance is going to be little more when the energy is decreased, and the innu now energy na kammi ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Okay, so when we are decreasing the energy, okay, so when we are decreasing the energy, so at this point they are going to have a covalent bonding. Okay, so it should be like this. Just a moment. Okay, so what I want to do is I need to start from the point A. Okay, so here the point A, this is right, here the point A. So in the case of point A, there are two different points, two different atoms. Okay, so these two atoms, when we are lowering the energy, so then closer to this position B, and from then we slowly decrease more, and they come to the position of this C, where the covalent bond is formed here. At this case, in the point C, the covalent bond is formed. Okay, so this is this 75 picometer what we have. It is giving you what distance between the hydrogen nuclei. It means from here to here, if I am writing the bond, okay, so here and here. So ಇದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಹೀಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಒಂದು, ಸೊ ಎರಡು ಬಾಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಇದು ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್. ಈ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇಂದ ಈ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? 75 picometer. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯೈ. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯೈಗೋ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಆಟಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಆಟಮ್. ಈ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯೈಗೋ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯೈಗೋ ಅವೆರಡು ಬಾಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 75 picometer ಇದೆ. 75 picometer ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅವೆರಡು ಮಧ್ಯೆ. ಪುನಃ ಆಸ್ ವಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ದ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸ್ಲೋಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ? ದೇ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿಕಮ್ ಸ್ಟೇಬಲ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ? ಅದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನು ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಅಗೇನ್ ರಿವರ್ಟ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪುನಃ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಅದು ಪುನಃ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎರಡು ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದಂಗೆನೆ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? So the atoms continue to approach one another. Once the bond forms, the nuclei will begin to repel one another and the potential energy will start to increase. Okay, so here you can observe what happens. So once they are bond, so once they have bond ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯೈಗಳಿರುತ್ತೆ. ನೈಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಅದು ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯೈ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯೈ, ಇವೆರಡರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಅವೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಅವೆ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ದೇ ಅಗೇನ್ ರಿಪೆಲ್ ಈಚ್ ಅದರ್. ಸೊ ರಿಪೆಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇದ್ರ ಎನರ್ಜಿಗಳು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದ್ರ ರಿಪಲ್ಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಏನಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಪುನಃ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅವು ಪುನಃ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಆಟಮ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರೋದು ಗ್ರಾಫ್. ಈ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ರೀಸನ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಪಲ್ಷನ್. ಸೊ ರಿಪಲ್ಷನ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿಯಿಂದ, because of the energy of that repulsion, you can see this bonds are energy is increasing. Okay, idu minus alli ide, illi positive hogtide towards that. So that is the energy difference you can. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, Anna.
So ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೋವೆಲೆಂಟ್ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ಬಾಂಡ್ ಲೆಂತ್, ಬಾಂಡ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಬಾಂಡ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಬಾಂಡೆಡ್ ಆಟಮ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಶಿಯಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ. ಸೊ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅವಾಗ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ಗಳು. ಓಕೆ, so that is going to be the bond length, distance between two bonded atoms at their minimum potential energy. So the energy should be minimum. Okay, and the bond energy is required to break a chemical bond. So it's going to be expressed in the form of kilojoule per mole. So here you can see bond length and bond energy vary with the type of atoms they combine. So ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಒಂದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಲೆಂತ್, ಒಂದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. There will be different bond lengths and different bond energy based on the types of atoms that have combined. Okay, we'll come back to this later. So, and when we are studying about covalent bond, so in the case of covalent bond, so we'll be having two types of bonding. So one is sigma bond, and another one is going to be pi bond. Sigma bond and pi bond. So remember these two, sigma bond and pi bond. Okay, so either yav basis mele, on what basis we have classified sigma and pi bond, what basis we have classified andre? So the classification is based on the nature of nature of orbital overlap. It is based on nature of orbital overlap. So adra mele depend agide adu. So it has depend upon the nature of orbital overlap. Okay, so on the basis of the orbital overlap, we'll see what is orbital overlap. So, but based on that, that thing, we have classified them as a sigma bond and pi bond. This is very important. This sigma and pi bond concept. More of sigma and pi bond concept we will be studying in depth in the next classes, in higher classes. But as of now, you should remember the two types of covalent bonding, and that in the case of polar non-polar, adu bere. Adu on the basis of electronegative difference ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ? ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟಲ್ ಓವರ್ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ. ಆ ಆರ್ಬಿಟಲ್ ಓವರ್ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಸಿಗ್ಮಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪೈ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿಗ್ಮಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪೈ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. And to know what is orbitals ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಟಮ್ಸ್ ಓದಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ we have come across structure of atom. I'll tell you. Okay, so orbitals are nothing but, so we know that subshells, subshell S, P, D, F. So these are the subshells we know. Okay, so in that subshell, how the electrons are going to overlap, so that we are going to, based on that, we have classified them as a sigma and pi. For example, if you consider your school as an atom, school ಅನ್ನೋದು ಏನಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ, ಆ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಆಟಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ದು ಈಗ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಫ್ಲೋರ್ಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ. ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಫ್ಲೋರ್, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ಲೋರ್, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಫ್ಲೋರ್ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ಲೋರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದೇರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ಲೋರ್ಸ್ ನ, ಈ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್ ನ we call it as orbit, right? K shell, L shell, M shell, N shell ಎಲ್ಲ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಗಳು ಈಗ ರೊಟೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇದರಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್. ಈ ನೀವು ಫ್ಲೋರ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಫ್ಲೋರ್ಸ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ನಮ್ಗೆ? We have classrooms. What are these classrooms? These classrooms are subshells, which are known as orbitals. A subshells ಏನಿದೆ classrooms ತರ, ಆ classrooms ಏನು orbitals. ಆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಯಾರು ಕೂತ್ಕೋತಾರೆ? ನೀವಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. You students are going to be asked to sit in the classroom, right? So students are going to be, let's change this a little more. Instead of students, inside the classroom we will be having benches. So I'll take that benches, right? ಈ benches ಏನಿದೆ, ಇದು ಒಂಥರ particular position ಅಥವಾ particular place for a student to go and sit. ಅವನು ಹೋಗಿ ಆ ಬೆಂಚ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂರ್ಬೇಕು. And each places will be assigned. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಜನ ಕೂತ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾರು 5 ಜನ ಬರ್ತಾರೋ ಅವ್ರು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೋತಾರೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 5 ಹೋಗಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಬೈ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಬೆಂಚ್ ಫಿಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಚ್ ಗಳು ಫಿಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ಈ ಬೆಂಚ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಈ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು? ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ electrons. So these electrons, we have arranged that in such a manner, or not we have, it has arranged in such a manner that electrons are going to occupy the particular position which is given to them. like you people are going to take the particular position or particular place which is assigned to you. So similarly, the electrons are going to sit in the benches which is inside the orbitals. Okay, the substance inside the substance they are going to sit, like we have seen s orbital. So s orbital, it can accommodate 2 electrons. Like p orbital will be having 6 electrons. So ಈ ತರ electrons ಗಳು ಹೋಗಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. So ಈ ತರದಲ್ಲಿ overlaps ಗಳು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So we are always studying these things. Okay, so ಈ ತರ overlap ಆಗೋದ್ರ basis ಮೇಲೆ we have told that sigma and pi bonds. Okay, is it possible for you to understand this thing? ತುಂಬಾ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? Are you able to understand the thing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.